show rules.
I personally love it better than stand-up.
This is so wonderful to have a comedy club in the back of a comic book store. It's like having a dance studio in the back of a porn shop.
I've seen comedians, I've known them for 20 years, then I see them do this, I'm like, fuck, it's a whole different thing.
It's like a ball game, man. You can lose, you know. First time doing set list. My whole back is sweating right now, actually. I'm sweating through my shirt. Nerve-wracking, for sure. The fear of not knowing if you're going to be able to give it to them. That's the scary part of it.
Will you welcome the never-before-seen set list of Nick Thune!
I know it means a lot for you to be here. And I know it's like total Hollywood bullshit. I'm actually just got a phone call last minute. They're gonna tape the Tonight Show live tonight, and I'm gonna do stand-up at the end of it. It's like, wow, you know. And I just want to run through the jokes. They're all jokes I've told, and I just want to run through them one more time. You know what I mean? Just give them that little, just really rev them up, you know. You know, when I first pitched this joke to the Tonight Show, they said, don't do it. At least don't close on it. And I said, all right. I'll throw it in the middle. But, you know, I love having sex. I just think we all love having sex, right? I mean, we love having sex. We love watching sex. It's our society. We just love sex. And people get excited about sex, and I always say to them, listen, there's a couple things you need to know about sex, and it's the 3 N's of sex, right? The first one is Nick. You just got to try it with a guy named Nick once. Just one time do it with a guy named Nick, because how do you know it's not going to be better? And they said, okay, that's cool. And I go, what's the second rule? And I go, I'm not going to tell you until afterwards. And so then we'll generally have, this is pre-marriage, guys, as far as my wife knows. And so we'll have sex, right? Wherever we're at, bathrooms, inside the Puyallup Fair in 87. You know, it's just we'll have sex. And then they'll go, what's the second N? And I'll say, that's actually Nick, too. It's better if you do it with Nick twice. And I'll tell you the third N before we even do it. And she said, no, don't. I want the same process. And I thought, all right. So we have sex again. Not as good as the first time. Usually. This is just, I'm going through generals right now. And then after that, she'll say, what's the third N? And I don't want to get racist on it, you know, and that's what I say to him. That gets him real, like, well, I guess I was going to try that at one point in my life, you know. And I say it's Nick, again. And they said, oh, I thought you were going to say another N-word. And I said, yeah, I know, I was just, I was thinking about it too, then I thought it might not work well on camera. A lot of people love Bruce Almighty. A lot of people love Bruce Almighty. 2 people I can think of. Well, Jim Carrey, Morgan Freeman. They loved Bruce Almighty. When the second one came out, I mean, yeah, you got Steve Carell in there. Everybody's going to love that, right? When he got on set and realized this, he goes, wait a second, where's the arc at? And they're like, oh, it's all CGI. Actually, Morgan Freeman wasn't even the first one. It's we're really just trying to get by the cheapest we can get on everything. But he said, but we have at least like a small arc sample. And they go, oh yeah. And so they take him in the room, they show him what the art department had been working on. It's a small sample arc. And they go, you know, if you want to hang out for a couple seconds, just hang out with the arc. That's fine. So they leave. 3 hours go by. Water is coming out of the door. All right, it's salt water. Like, that doesn't even make sense. How would where did he get salt water from? They're shooting it in Burbank, you guys. And does Carell have a saltwater guy? Yeah, he does, but he wasn't using them that day, and they actually looked into it. They pulled Steve Carell out of that room maybe 2 minutes from dying. He can hold his breath for about a half hour, another fact about Steve. You get him around an arc, he's going to fill the room up with water, and he's going to want to just hang out with the arc. It's called arcolepsy. It's a very sad thing. Thank you. I think awareness, this day and age, being aware of your surroundings. I can speak as a consumer of boners that I... Oh, you don't think I'm going to buy a boner if I see one? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put an offer in and I'm going to buy it, all right? I'm a boner consumer, and you're going to have to acknowledge that. And so if I'm walking around and I don't see that somebody has a boner awareness bracelet, it's just like, I'm not going to put an offer down. So if you're a smart seller, if you're out there trying to get your product out there, you need people to be aware of what you've got downstairs. Now, I'm not talking about putting measurements on there, unless you want to. You know, I'm not talking about getting that specific. Just let us know, you know, and maybe give us an opportunity to just give it a little, not a hard one, just feel what kind of stiffness are we talking about, you know. That's all I have to say. But to tie it back on a real note, boners are a problem. And Lance Armstrong, who happens to be one of my idols, and we all know the bracelet work he's done. Lance and I have teamed up. We've teamed up. We've called it One Man and One Half Man. It's just our corp. It's not even going to be on any of the documents. That's just lawyer stuff, really. But One and One Half Man. And what we're trying to do is just get the awareness out there. And it's a small bracelet that has penises all over it. They are life size. The bracelet's small. That's what we're talking. The ornaments are pretty big. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
How'd it go, man?
It went. It definitely went. Felt good. You know, it definitely... but I could tell that the audience was just waiting for the joke. And I was just searching for the joke, trying to find the joke. Where's the joke? That it was hard to keep a confident persona when I really... my knees were shaking and I was dripping in sweat. Yeah.